Let me bang.
I do let you bang. Hey,
let me bang you, James, man.
I let you bang. I let you bang.
Greetings, nerds and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy?
It's a brand new MMA Roasted podcast. I'm here with Don Frye, who's the only one here right now. This is like a bizarro world. But I love it. Don, how are you, man?
I'm okay. What happened to the other guys?
They said they're coming on now. So it's just me and Don. I'll text everybody. Me and Don are on. I saw you had Butterbean on your podcast.
Yeah. He was a great guest. Yeah, he knows how to answer questions and carry it. You know, he don't have to do anything.
Did you ever work with Butterbean before?
No, never did. I've met him before, you know, a couple of times, but no, we never worked, never fought.
They were supposed to have a fight between Tank Abbott and Butterbean back in their prime. Who wins that fight?
Yeah?
Yeah, who do you think wins that fight?
Oh, Butterbean would have killed him.
Really?
Would have knocked his fucking head off. Hell yeah. But
even in MMA?
Tank wouldn't have been smart enough to shot on him, you know? Tank would have tried to stand up and fight him, you know, just out of ego.
McCorkle, we're talking about Don had Butterbean on his podcast, Don and Dan's Toxic Masculinity, and they were trying to make Butterbean versus Tank back in their prime. Who do you think would have won?
I guess probably depends on which Butterbean. If there was a prime Butterbean, which I guess there was, the one who was in pretty decent cardio shape for a guy, I think he'd have knocked Tank out because he could take a shot and he could really give one. I tried to fight Butterbean once he was already spent, like once he couldn't even walk anymore barely when he was like 600 pounds. I even said I'd fight for $100 just because I wanted to win over Butterbean. That was like always my goal, like to get a win over Wes Sims or guys who had a much better name, like bigger name than their ability, you know. But yeah, no, I mean the Butterbean that fought his last couple of fights. Well, I mean Tank was spent by then too. I almost fought. You remember when Tank fought I think Scott Ferrazzo in someone's backyard?
Yeah.
The same guy, I guess he's a drug dealer, allegedly. I'm sorry if not, but he was going to pay me $10,000 to fight Wes Sims in his backyard at a private party. And I told him as long as I got the money first, like I was down, but I had to have it like I wanted it. I told him I wanted it before I got there, like, because I'm not showing there and then having you give me $10,000 and rob me afterward. I should have done that in Japan when I fought too, because I had a $30,000 deal in Japan.
Yeah.
And gave me $15,000 and suddenly they didn't speak English anymore. Like after they paid me, I was like, no, you guys owe me 30. They're like, oh, later. And I was like, no, not later, now. And there's nothing I could do about it. So I was going to go on Ariel Helwani show. It was, the guy, the legend, he just died, and he fought Muhammad Ali in the first mixed martial arts match, the famous Japanese pro wrestler.
Antonio
Inoki.
Yeah, no, Inoki.
Antonio Inoki.
Yeah, he fought Muhammad Ali in the first mixed martial arts match, and he just basically crawled around. Muhammad Ali just moved around. It was his promotion. So I had told the Japanese people, the promoters, that if they didn't give me my money by the time I was on Ariel's show, that I was going to say that he tried to have sex with me and wouldn't pay me my money if I didn't do it. Because that worked when I fought in Australia. They tried to stick me on $5,000 in Australia and said they'd send it later. And I told them I was going on Ariel's show that weekend, even though I wasn't, or that week. And I said that I was going to say that they paid me to lose and they tried to have sex with me and won't give me my last $5,000 because I wouldn't do it. And I had my money within, like, seriously, 30 minutes. My money got transferred into my bank account. So I wasn't actually scheduled to go on Ariel. I just said that. So I tried the same thing. And Monty Cox, my agent, called me and said, hey, you're messing with the Yakuza right now, right? Like by threatening them and stuff, right? I was like, dude, I don't care. Dudes are in Japan. What are they going to do? He goes, they're going to send people over here to murder you, most likely. He said, so I don't think I would say that, Inoki's trying to have sex with you. That's a bad idea. And it was funny when they didn't pay my money. I was like, well, I'm not leaving here until they pay my money. And Monty was like, okay, well, they're just what are you going to do? Just going to sit in Japan? Like, they don't care if you leave there or not. They don't care what you do.
But why trying to have sex with you? Why can't you stop at, they didn't pay me my money? Like, why the trying to have sex with you?
Because Asians are, especially pro wrestlers, are notoriously homophobic. And I was trying to more make like a political stand than anything. No, not really. That was the most insulting thing I did.
That wasn't a personal fantasy.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was like. Tell you what, if somebody was giving my money, somebody's going to be getting their dick sucked around here. No, it's they stuck me for 15 grand. So
I'll bring Bruce over.
I'll bring Bruce, and everybody's getting their dick sucked. Dominic Cruz would be my backup for that one. No, that never ended up happening. But Wes Sims called me and asked me if we could just stage the fight and both just split the money. Or if he quit the first time I hit him, if I would give him half my money. And I said yes, but I wasn't going to. I was just going to punch him in the face and leave with the money. But it's because he didn't want to fight. He goes, dude, I'm not trying to get really hurt. I said, let's just fight then. How bad can it be? He's like, I'm not trying to fight your big ass. And meanwhile, Wes Sims is 6'11", 280 pounds. But so that never happened. But I don't know how I got Butterbean. That's how we got on that. So.
Well, the last couple of weeks have been pretty crazy. So I've been traveling like crazy. So I got to Portland, Oregon, right? By the way, so Portland's like
beautiful city. I hear.
Yeah, right. Dude,
how did you switch? How did you make the switch from what he's talking about to you just traveling?
Because we're going to go on for an hour. We're going to go on for an hour about Sean almost trying to have someone fuck someone in the ass, and then him getting money, which I love. But
every story ends with me.
But I actually wrote down some things that I thought would be kind of funny or stories that. Anyway, so I get to Portland. And I'm white because I just had done like a cruise ship, and I flew to Mexico to Houston, back to LA, back to Portland, all within like 9 hours.
Adam was exhausted from being on a cruise for a week.
That was my question. Wait. People pay tons of money to go on a cruise for vacation, and you're exhausted from that.
No, I'm exhausted from like
when you're getting paid.
I had 8 shows on the cruise. I had to do an audition for General Hospital from the cruise, which I didn't get, and then flying. The flying part is that's the hard part. So anyway, I get to Portland, and the guy picks me up, the promoter.
That sucks. That fucking flying says.
The guy's smoking all this. Like, the guy must smoke like 45 cigarettes at like 8 o'clock in the morning. The guy who picked me up, the nice guy, this guy who the booker. So we get to the hotel, and I'm telling him about Roddy Piper. The guy worked with Roddy Piper, and I said, "Man, Roddy is the only wrestler I know who was faithful to his wife. Like he was actually faithful." So we get the lady behind the counter.
Thank you very much.
The lady behind the counter is like this like heavy set woman, and she goes, "Oh, the Thunder!" Like she had this like speech impediment. She's like, "What did you say?" And like I didn't know where it was coming from. I just heard like, "What did you say?" Cheer? Like something was going on, right? So I'm like, what the fuck was that? Right? I look, and it's a lady. And then I'm like, I go, "Hey, how's it going?" And like, it was 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, "Hey, I'm trying to get a room." And because a lot of times they make you wait till 1 o'clock, which whenever they do that, I'm just like, okay, no problem. I just set up shop in the lobby of the hotel and talk to everybody and have conversations like, "What? He got AIDS?"
Take off your shoes. You take off your shoes and you strip down to your underwear.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, "I can't believe he got chlamydia. Do you think I have it?" Like having really inappropriate conversations. So then the lady, I go, "Hey, I'm a comic. You want to come to the show?" She goes, "Tell me a joke." Like, so I was like, oh God. All right. So I told her a joke, and then she goes, "I have a couple jokes," and then starts. This is the lady behind the desk that's telling me like 10 jokes in a row, but like off the internet, like a priest and a rabbi. What? And now there's a line behind me. There's like 15 people behind me waiting to check in, and I gotta wait for these jokes. And I don't even know where the punchlines are. I'm just waiting for like pauses so I can pretend to laugh. But she has my room key. Finally, she's like, "Okay, I'll let you in, but you gotta go check out that, and just starts telling me the whole fucking tour. And if you, dude, it was brutal. It was brutal. It was.
Was she made of clay? Because she sounds like Mr. Bill in your impression. I just keep thinking she's gonna be like, no, like when you get her hand.
No.
What's up, people? Support for MMA Roasted is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Their products are precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They're very important, especially to our people watching. Well, to everybody, really. But Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 8 million people worldwide, okay, who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, which is 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code MMA Roasted at manscaped.com. My math is correct. That's about 16 million balls. That's a lot of balls, people. Lots and lots of balls, okay? Listen, I've been using the Performance Package 4.0. It's a game changer, okay? I remember before I used to use scissors or I would use a razor. I've cut my balls, and that is not fun, okay? I've scraped them. People thought I had STDs. I just had all kinds of just terrible things, all right? Just horrible stuff on my nuts, okay? And thanks to Manscaped, it's all taken care of, okay? First off, the Lawnmower 4.0, the trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever. I tried lots of ball trimmers, okay? I plucked them out. I hasn't been good, okay? But this trimmer is waterproof, and you can say goodbye to the mess in the bathroom floor, okay? My wife comes in, she's hair everywhere. She's like, what's going on? It looked like somebody ran over a Furby or something, okay? Listen, Manscaped is the way to go, okay? Time to take care of yourself. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code MMA Roasted. Okay, that's 20% off, free shipping. Use the code MMA Roasted at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code MMA Roasted. Unlock your confidence, okay? Let your balls out, okay? You take home a girl for the first night, or your wife or a guy, whatever you're into, they can be like, wow, this person takes care of you. You don't want stinky nuts, all right? You don't want women to pass out and just have all kind of funk down there. Not good, okay? I used to look like Ben Askren down there. Girls would be like, is that Askren? Because it would just be lots of hair everywhere. Yeah, it was like Chase Hooper down on my nutsack. Not good, okay? Unlock your confidence. Always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Check it out. Dude, I don't know what it is. Dude, when I flew to Houston to go to the cruise, the cruise was out of Galveston, Texas, right? I don't know what is it with these people now that think that they have jobs where you're trapped, where they have to now, like this guy gave us a tour, right? It was me and like younger people that did not want this tour, right? But this guy's giving us, he's a bus driver. And he's like, everybody, if you look to the right, that was the first insurance building in the history of like no one gave a fuck about the insurance building. If you look to the left, that's the river. Dude, this went on for 45 minutes. Like, and then starts saying, hey, make sure.
Well, you don't want to miss the river.
He goes,
not in Galveston. You don't want to miss the river.
Then he's like, make sure you guys check your credit card. Yeah, take your room key and the charges, because I had a friend that his kid took his card. They had a pizza party, and he bought everyone pizza, and it was $19,000. I'm like, first of all, this is a bullshit story. Like, that didn't happen. You know, there's no fucking way it was 19. He goes, I think that's what. I'm like, dude, like, why am I listening to this, right? So then I ended up going to the cruise, and I'm talking to these girls. This is like,
what store has $19,000 worth of pizza ingredients? You know, sitting around per day,
dude. Then I get on the cruise, and there's like 5 black women. They're so super nice, and I'm talking to them. We're having a great time. They didn't know who Shaka Khan was. That was a little concerning, and they didn't know who Smokey Robinson was. They were, I guess, in their 30s.
No way.
Yeah.
Were they from Africa? Were they actually African?
No, they were from Texas, right? But the one girl says to me, she's like, hey, so do you cheat on your wife? I think she would kind of like me. And I was like, no, I don't. She's like, well, she's like, I don't care if a guy cheats as long as he respectfully cheats. She's like, don't.
The fuck does that mean?
She goes,
don't bring home a disease.
She's like, don't do it in front of me. Don't let me know about it. But I don't want to hear about it. But if you want to go out and cheat, if you're on a cruise ship or somewhere else, go ahead and cheat. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy, right? I mean, Sean, have you ever heard of that?
Did you get her number?
No, I didn't get her number. But then there was another girl, this Indian girl who was very nice, who met her boyfriend playing Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like she was like this nerdy.
So he was an alpha male, obviously. He was definitely the quarterback of the high school football team when they met.
And she was worried about him cheating. And I'm like, dude, he's not cheating on you. If you meet a guy playing D&D, which I even know D&D because what she said, like he's not cheating, right? So then there's, dude, so that was crazy. And then dude, these girls on the dance floor at the cruises, it's next level. Sean, Don, you know how back in the day you'd see girls like, like dance promiscuously or whatever it is, promiscuously. Dude, one girl will get on all fours and have her ass in the air. Basically, her head's on the fucking dance floor, and these other two girls take their position of holding her dress down, like they know that way her panties don't. That way you can't see if she's wearing underwear or not. Like they have positions now.
They ran drills. They got it down to a science. That's Lee. What was that? Carnival?
Practicing.
Was it?
Yeah, Carnival, dude. Then I'm like, bro. Then Scott Baio needed help moving, right? Because Scott Baio moved to Florida. So,
of course. Wait, he asked you to help him move out of state? That's a hell of a friend, man.
Dude, they gave us so Scott Baio was like he's moving to Florida, but he's in Florida with the kid, and the wife needed help moving, and they're like the most wonderful people I know. So I'm like, all right, dude. I get there, and I'm
wait. He left his wife. He left his wife alone to do
to move. To kind of move.
Ironically, he left her in charge of the move.
Yeah, dude. So they had like 25,000 boxes for me to move, right? And so now I'm climbing on rafters, bro. Like I'm climbing on like I could have died 700 times falling off. I'm in the garage getting boxes down, and then Renee's like, who I love, she's like, hey, be careful about the Christmas decorations because, every, like those, whatever those circles, what I'm talking about.
I'm not Jewish. I celebrate Christmas and I have no idea what you're talking
about. No, the Christmas decorations, the ones that you put on your, door.
Oh, the wreath? Like a Christmas wreath or something?
Yeah, she's like, careful, there's pine cones on. Don't break the pine cones. I'm like, they're expensive. I'm like, yeah, so are my legs.
Right.
Like, I almost fell off this thing 100 times. I must have packed 10,000 boxes, right? So then my wife's like, our place is like, and they gave us tons of stuff. I mean, furniture and toys and this and that, just all this stuff for my kid. My place is like it's like a toy store now. It's like just all this stuff. So then my wife's like, we can't, my wife said, we can't take all this stuff. There's too much stuff, right? She's like, we don't need all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So then I'm like, I had one more SUV to move. I have an SUV. I had one more thing to move, right? Because I can't see. I'm driving.
Scott Baio is using an SUV to move.
No, I'm moving his stuff. He's got a mansion and a condo in Florida.
And not a moving company. He can afford a mansion and condo.
He's just a bunch of guys, bunch of friends with pickup trucks.
All right.
Hey, you got a pickup truck? What are you doing Saturday?
What were Ralph Malph and what's his name? God, I ruined the joke. I can't remember his name. Who was the other guy?
Potsy.
Yeah. Were they not helping?
So, dude, so I just cleaned out my garage. Now we have so much stuff you can't walk in the garage, right? Between the kids' stuff and the furniture and the stuff for the baby. So then I asked Bree, I'm like, hey, Bree, can you just come over with your car? We have one more. So she comes over and then she's like, Renee offers her like a wheelbarrow and like these like things that look like caskets. I mean, these huge things. And then like we have 19 Christmas trees and just it keeps going. Couches. And then we have big, I don't even know what, benches and stuff to sit on. She wants to know if we want her turtles. I mean, it's all this stuff. There's like a pond. We go on a pond. Like so then I fly out Friday night to go to the cruise. I take my kid to see Little Mermaid, this, that. Bree's mom has COVID, so she's stuck in the house. She was helping us. So then I get a text. My wife goes, no, of course. My wife's like, I'm coming over tomorrow with 2 U-Hauls to get more stuff, right? She went from me taking too much stuff to now she's getting U-Hauls to take the rest of the stuff, right? Because she's offering her all this stuff. So then,
of course,
I
the
fly
women
in.
are crazy. That's why.
So I fly in. I go, how's it going with the stuff? Like, she goes, disaster. Our gate malfunctioned. It still doesn't work from the guy driving into my house. And it closed on Rob, the guy who was helping us truck. We couldn't get him out. We had to call a tow truck. Then 3 competing tow trucks showed up of like Armenian guys trying to outbid the next guy.
They're not aggressive at all. I've heard Armenians can be quite reasonable also, so that probably wasn't.
It cost us a fortune between paying the guys, extra hours, and the emergency gate repair. So, and then I'm on a ship. So now everyone's got COVID, and there's a fucking truck stuck in our gate. Like, yeah, it just. And then I'm like, dude, we have 2 giant bunnies, like all her Easter stuff that are like, we have 7'2" bunnies in the house now of Scott Baio.
Of course, everybody does. Everybody does. What's different about that? Shit.
Oh God,
nothing unique here.
If you were helping Scott Baio move to Florida, though, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's moving to Florida, but he hired two U-Hauls to like drive the stuff. You
guys had to load it or something?
No, he had all this extra stuff.
Oh, so you weren't helping him move. You were just taking
No, I helped him move like 500 things, and my payment was all the extra stuff that he didn't want.
I got you. Okay.
But I helped him move.
Oh, was it autographed photos of himself and
dude,
his autobiography?
Dude, there were so many Chachi bobbleheads. We have a couple of them. We got a couple.
Dude, you could probably make a fortune on eBay with his memorabilia you took out of his house.
Dude. But then there was like, dude, it was
crazy. If you had a time machine and could go back to 85, I mean.
It was all this stuff. And then Scott calls me up. He's like, hey man, thank you. And then I had to get a home. My friend Dante has a turtle rescue. So I got his turtle saved. Yeah, it was just a whole thing.
Oh yeah, those are hard to outrun. Those are hard to outrun and chase down, man.
He's got an underground railroad for turtles.
Dude, you got to see my kid has so many toys now. I mean, and then we have a huge, I don't know, a giant bean bag, and it just keeps going. I'm like, Bray, why do we have a wheelbarrow? Oh, she's like, she gave us the ladder and the wheelbarrow.
For the turtles.
And the turtles. And
yeah. How is she going to move those turtles around without the wheelbarrow?
Yeah, is a turtle cheap beanbag?
Dude, yeah, seriously. Dude, so Chase Hooper came to my show in Seattle. He's from this place called Umenclaw. What it's like the town's famous for?
I can only imagine.
Okay, so I guess they had so Umenclaw is in Washington, where Chase Hooper's from. And it's got 12,000 people. I guess they had a conference of horse fuckers, of people that got together to fuck a horse, to get fucked by a horse. Geez. So there was a guy that like got hit by a car or something and he couldn't feel anything. So then his friend held the horse and they put it on video and the horse fucked him and then he died. I guess Joe Rogan has a bit about it.
What a friend. What a good friend. Yeah.
So
hey, you can't feel anything. Do me a favor. I get a lot of hits on the YouTube with this. I can get some money out of it, and I'll split it with you. Oh, you died? Oh,
if you don't die.
Yeah. So basically,
take it all, bitch. Take it all.
So I guess it was like a big conference of like people, like 25 people that got together to get fucked by horses. And that was in his town where he grew up, Umenclaw, Washington. And the guy's name was Mr. Hands. That's the guy who died, Mr. Hands. And so I guess
Mr. Olafs.
So Chase said on his school, somebody wrote horse fuckers, like the rival town came over and put horse fuckers on the school. So
the outsiders, they got a rival.
How do you defend that? How do you defend that? How do you defend that when you've got a fucking conference going on?
The Socias came over and ruined their school. Like, what's going on?
So, are you guys watching The Ultimate Fighter? I know this is the fighting podcast.
It wasn't the Amish bringing their horses into town.
No, I have not watched. I didn't know The Ultimate. I knew that Conor McGregor was on The Ultimate Fighter this year, but I haven't watched it for fear of I might see Conor McGregor on it. So
I'll give you a recap of the show. So it's Conor versus Chandler, right? And they have the veterans, guys that were in the UFC that got cut. One guy won The Ultimate Fighter. He's on the veteran team. Against
he's going to be a 2-time Ultimate Fighter winner. That's why I wondered how many seasons was James Krause on. That dude was on like 7 seasons of The Ultimate Fighter. I'm like, he's currently a UFC fighter and he's on The Ultimate Fighter again. Like, what is going on? Like, I'm getting figured out.
They find out it was rigged.
Right. I have to say, he probably bet somebody he could get on more than twice, and they were like, "There's no way."
You could bet on the Super Bowl, right? You could bet on the national anthem, like how long it's going to be.
Really?
Dude, if it's a black woman, bet the over. There's no way it's going to be like 3 minutes or under. That's got to be the easiest bet in the world. But anyway, so what happened was Chandler versus Conor. They get along.
Yeah, you could bet on anything. In Vegas. I know. Who's the chick who's the champion now?
Nunez.
Nunez. Yeah. When she fights another woman, there's a bet that a testicle will drop out, make its appearance.
When I heard they
didn't clarify if it was.
They were taking bets on WrestleMania matches for a while, man. I can't even believe that's like how you can bet on pro wrestling blows my mind. But they were doing that for a while.
It's crazy. So then what happened was. So Conor versus and it's one of those things where this guy on Conor's team, he's like, this is it. I like work full time. I'm this and that. He's got all kinds of issues. It's like he works at 6 a.m. packages for UPS. He got a new baby. He's this, that, and you end up like rooting for this guy. He gets knocked out in 8 seconds. Like literally fucking 8 seconds. The fight was like. He's like, yeah. So, Chandler's team.
Hey, wait, that was my record. That was my fucking record. Shit.
So, Roosevelt Roberts won. He's a guy, and then but they got a good cast though. They got this guy Hick Diaz. Remember that kid? They call him not Nick Diaz, Hick Diaz. He, who he is. He's the guy that had he has 4 teeth, but he's from West Virginia or something. Jason Knight.
I was going to say that doesn't narrow it down, but yes, I do know who Jason Knight is.
Yeah, he's on it. Jason Knight's on it. And then so is Cody Gibson. He's the guy that had he came on the podcast and had the him versus Hector Lombard in the debate. Bernie Sanders versus Trump.
Yeah. Oh, Hector. Those were the good old days.
He's a school teacher also. So yeah, so that was I saw Mike Pierce, Ed Herman. They came to my show. That was pretty awesome. This girl Liz Tracy came, who is an Invicta fighter. And I thought she was a lesbian for some reason. She got super short hair. Every single picture is her with girls in it.
Did she turn you down?
That too. But she was on a date at the show, and I was making fun of this guy that was her date. And then afterwards, I was like, she's like, I'm not. She's like, I'm not a lesbian. I love sucking dick. So shout out to her, Liz Tracy, for.
I was going to say shout out
to
my
room key. Yeah.
Give her my room key. All right. Did you watch the fights last week? Anyone watch the fights?
I didn't know there were fights. No. That's what I was. No.
All right. I'll tell you what happened. Quick repack. So Kai Kara France, they said he lost. He lost. They said he got robbed. I rewatched it. It could have went either way. I thought he won, but he gave up, I think, round 1 and 2. So I think that was one of the problems. Bruce Leroy won against Daniel Pineda. That was an amazing fight. Jim Miller won. So they bring in this guy. Jim Miller is supposed to fight the guy that I thought beat Paddy Pimblett. The guy that was overdosed on heroin 12 times. What's this? I'm talking about Paddy Pimblett.
Either that guy or every female UFC fighter. That was one of those two.
What's up, people? During the prime spring season, which is now, you need wholesome, convenient meals to energize you for warmer, more active days and keep you on track reaching your goals. That's you, all right? I want you to reach your goals. I want to reach my goals. And Factor, which is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, they can help you fuel up fast with ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, you'll eat well, and you'll tackle everything on your to-do list, which is a lot if you're me, and probably you too. Are you too busy to cook this May? I know I am. I stink at cooking. Well, with Factor, you can skip the trip to the grocery store and skip the chopping, the prepping, and cleaning. It takes time, all right? And Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. 2. So all you got to do is heat it up and enjoy. Then get back outside and soak up the warmer weather because that's good for you. Vitamin D. Are you looking for calorie-conscious options ahead of summer? I know I am. You could try their delicious dietitian-approved Calorie Smart meals with around or less than 550 calories per serving, all right? You need an extra boost of energy? I always do. I'm exhausted. I got a kid. I got a wife. I got a career. I need energy, all right? And check it out. Try the Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. They offer delicious, flavor-packed options on the menu each week in a variety of lifestyles from keto to calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and protein plus. They're prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians. Each meal has all the ingredients you need to feel satisfied all day long while meeting your goals. Get those goals, people. If you're looking to mix it up, you could add protein to select vegan and veggie meals each week. With 34 plus chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options, there's always something new to try. Plus, you could round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 plus add-ons, including breakfast items like their delicious apple cinnamon pancakes, yummy bacon and cheddar egg bites, and potato, bacon, and egg breakfast scalette. Or, for an easy wellness boost, try refreshing beverage options like cold pressed juices, shakes, smoothies. Looking to pack in more protein? Conveniently add on filling options like a salmon fillet. Oh, that sounds delicious. Or chicken wings to your Factor meals to support your dietary goals any time of the day. So check it out. Head to factormeals.com/roasted50 and use code roasted50 to get 50% off your first box. That's amazing. That's code roasted50 at factormeals.com/roasted50 to get 50% off your first box. That sounds amazing. Do it now. Patty Pimblett.
Yeah.
Fucking. Yeah. So anyway, so this guy was supposed to fight Jared Gordon. So Jared Gordon, the week of fight week, talks about he fought like 30 days before that. He talks about getting a concussion. He said he goes, I had a concussion. And now the UFC took him off the whole thing. They said, no way, we can't let the guy fight. And then people were mad at Dana White because Dana was like, Jared's not a doctor. He didn't disclose that. And they're like, well, people are like, well, you guys booked it. So how is that his fault? You know? So they brought in this guy.
He got knocked out in the UFC like 30 days before, right?
Yeah, in the UFC.
So yeah, it wasn't like they didn't. Like, when did he get knocked out? 3 weeks ago? We didn't know about that.
Right. So then it was one of those things where they brought in this guy to fight this guy, Jesse Butler. Took the fight on 48 hours notice, came in there, had his hands down, chin up in the air, and Jim Miller just knocked him out in 20 seconds. It was like, boom. Like, what are you going to do, right?
I guess they're probably going to put him on the Ultimate Fighter next season, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I like how
or making the trainer making the trainer for the kid out of the Triple C, whatever his name is.
Henry Cejudo's trainer.
Yeah, so that was crazy. And then what else happened? Tim Elliott, he's the guy that got cheated on and by Gina. Remember, he
was it respectfully?
Yeah, well, no, the guy by his like best man, the girl that I used to date, Gina. So the guy that was
that's very disrespectfully.
Yes, the guy was his best man, and then he posted about it. This was my wedding picture. She was giving my vows to my kid. She fucked the best guy, Kevin Kroom. So this guy looked great, Tim Elliott. I think he was like scoring Tim Elliott is a fucking. I was writing jokes about it, like he's gonna dedicate the fight to Maury Povich, and like his corner left him for Kevin Kroom. But shout out to him. He said he didn't know that 20 million people would see the tweet about the girl, and then there was a guy from Pakistan who took the fight on 1 week notice. This guy, Muhammad Naimov, he fought this guy Malarkey, who wins every fight up until the second round. Then he gets knocked out. The guy from Pakistan had a whole stadium of people watching him in Pakistan at like 4 a.m. But they didn't cut to it. You would think the UFC would just cut to it. They mentioned it, but why would they?
Because it probably cost more than $500 to send a camera crew over there to film it. And they're like, we're not doing that. When they did my, I was the co-main event at 124, and they did the countdown show, and they pulled my tweets off the internet. That's how cheap the UFC is. My part of the countdown show was someone reading my tweets, like about Steven Struve. And when I asked why, I asked Joe Silva, I said, are you guys not going to come film or whatever? Like, we don't have that kind of money to send somebody to film crew to Indiana to film you training and stuff. And I was like, really? Like for a pay-per-view that's going to sell 1 million pay-per-views? That seems odd. But couldn't afford to send a camera crew probably over there.
And then, so that was basically, and then Don tell me.
But if you're willing to film it, if you're willing to film it on your telephone and then send it to them, they'll take that.
Yeah.
Right. But not pay you for it.
And then Dontel Mays, he was the guy that had the guy on the bottom of him and started humping the guy's face. Remember that guy? Like tried to knock him out with his cup.
Yeah.
He knocked out Andre Arlovsky.
Sure.
Arlovsky's still fighting? I thought he retired.
With the cup shot?
Yeah. He basically tried to knock the guy out with the cup shot. Yes. So that is what happened last week. Now you guys are all caught up. In the PFL this week, Brandon Loughnane, he's the guy that beat Bubba Jenkins. He won it last year, won the million. He's fighting a guy from Pinedo. Bubba's fighting this week. I hope Bubba wins. Bubba's one of those guys, like, he always wins the second fight. He overlooks people. He makes these rookie mistakes his whole fucking career. He's one of these guys, Don. I don't know if you ever coach guys like this or train with guys or Sean. They have to learn the hard way every time. Like they win the rematch, they win this, they win that, but they lose to guys they should beat because they just assume that they're too good. Have you ever worked with guys like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, myself a couple times.
Couple times with me. Yeah.
I had a couple of rematches that I was so sure I was going to win. I didn't really train for him and got my ass whipped. So,
but him is the first one. It's the first one he loses.
Yeah.
He wins the rematch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
he assumes blindly he's going to win the first one. Like, oh, it's the first one.
100%. I mean, that for me, I have to remind myself sometimes with comedy shows. I'm like, don't forget, you could bomb. Like you bomb all the time. Like, dude, this is not a gimme. Every time I think I'm going to walk in and just fucking crush is number one, I'm result oriented. I'm not thinking about the joke. I'm thinking about the reaction. And number two, the laugh is never as big as I want it to be, so I never am crushing as hard as I am, or I think I am. Tyler Diamond, he's a guy that like made it to the finals of The Ultimate Fighter, kick-ass guy, kind of a boring wrestler. UFC cut him. He was doing this food delivery service, package meal, got into the PFL, had some wars. They let him back into the PFL. Now he's fighting a guy who's 20-0 from fucking Dagestan.
Imagine that.
Oh, God.
If they let it keep going, everybody in the entire UFC and PFL will be from Dagestan. Like, if they let those guys in, like, they're going to have to start doing, like, some kind of racial quotas or something, man, because those guys are going to dominate everything. It's like if Harvard didn't have affirmative action, every kid would be from China because they've got perfect SAT scores and, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's crazy, man.
You're not kidding, man. My first semester in college.
Well, they'll take UFC money. UFC can lowball them down to nothing. We'll give you $10 and a cup of camel milk if you come over and fight.
I was going to say a goat, but a cup of camel milk is far better deal.
way more specific. So this week, and this guy Impa is fighting. Impa's the guy remember that guy Joaquin Buckley? He caught Buckley's foot, and Buckley did that crazy kick where that's the guy that got knocked out from Buckley, and he got knocked out again. I saw him when he was in Miami. He was my friend's personal trainer. Quick catching feet. My friend from high school, he was his personal trainer. And I'm like, oh, man, like he only fought for like 2 years before he went to the UFC. Now he's back in the PFL, and he won his qualifying thing. So I hope the guy wins it. Fucking nice guy, man. I'm
still trying to figure out whose money the PFL is burning, man. Somebody, I don't know what's going on. They are burning they're giving millions of dollars away all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're giving millions of dollars to Ngannou, and he's not even fighting. Like, they just keep giving money. Like, golly, where were they when I was fighting, man? Like, I would have loved to have gone and fought in PFL for $1 million payday against some. Like, they asked me.
I think I have yet to meet anyone from Africa that wasn't nice. By the way, everybody I meet from Africa is like super nice and grateful and humble
because they're happy to be the fuck out of that country. They're off that continent, you know. They're happy to be off that continent.
Dude, I have never seen poverty like I did when I went to Africa. When the soldiers took me around, I went to Djibouti, Africa, and the NCIS guys were like, "Hey, you want us to take you a tour?" Sure, dude. There were people on this drug called khat, where it's like heroin combined with something and like the head of the country's wife was the biggest khat dealer. And they were just sitting there like zombies. It's like fentanyl times 20, just drooling in the middle of the road. They said like 90% of the people had AIDS in that country. And guys were still fucking the women with AIDS. Like the U.S. soldiers were going downtown. They're like, fuck it, risk it. And we were giving out little...
This is Somalia?
Djibouti, Africa, right by Somalia. We were giving out water bottles that were like this big, right? To little kids that were following our truck. You would have think we gave them $1 million each. Like, then they took me to this graveyard where they didn't even have money to bury people. So they were buried like 3 feet under. Like, you could see his bones, human bones, everywhere. I got so sick just being there. So you're not lying, Don, when you say that that place is rough. That's real poverty right there.
So Scott Baio gives you millions of dollars for a kid, and you give kids a bottled water that's about 3 ounces. That's the moral of that story.
Dude, those kids
they make them run chasing you on a truck for it. They have to chase the truck for the bottled water.
Dude, Scott Baio's wife.
Well, those kids wouldn't even take the Scott Baio bobbleheads. You know?
Dude, I'm not kidding though. Scott Baio and his wife, it's funny because they're always giving money to Africa. They send clothes to Africa all the time. They have part of their like church thing. So my friend Glozell, she's like, "What are you doing?" To the Renee. She's like, "Oh, I'm sending clothes to Africa today." She goes, "I'm right here." Glozell goes, "I'm Africa." And she came over and got a bunch of the clothes. Like,
that's crazy. How do you know how? And I don't want you to hurt your friendship, but how does a guy like Scott Baio maintain his level of wealth when he doesn't act or do it? Like, did he invest his money really well, or residual checks that great? Like, I don't know.
I mean, he's always been conservative. Like, he campaigned for Reagan. Like, he has been a conservative, and he I don't know how, because I asked him the same question on my podcast. I'm like, dude, for the Happy Days money, the Charles in Charge money, but I also think he was he bought a house real early, probably. It's gated community. Like, it's just so funny. All these people that are like, Scott Baio, enjoy working at Subway. They're posting memes. Like, I'm like, bro, if you knew the gated community that he lives in, it's probably one of the top 3 I've ever been to in my life. Gated communities, like Hidden Hill. I put it up there with. Not Hidden Hills is where like Drake and Russell Peters, called Hidden Hills. They have like their own school district there, and like the Dean McDermott, like the Kardashians all live there, and Hidden Hills and Kanye. That place is insane. Hidden Hills is insane.
Sounds like hell to me, but that's maybe different for people that live in LA. If I had to live next to the Kardashians and Drake, I'd be like, yeah, fuck that.
But dude, their community is also like, it's up there with that. Like, it's ridiculous, the houses. They're I mean, so that people that are like, oh, Scott Baio, you're working at Subway. I'm like, dude, working at Subway. Like, are you out of your? But they moved to
He
Florida.
owns it.
Yeah. They moved to Florida because number one, they wanted to get out of LA. They can't stand, what's going on in California. But their daughter
The stupidity, right?
Their daughter is ranked like number 5 in the country in golf. She's like in high school. And she's insane at golf. So she got
cool. That's cool.
Some kind of school there, and they want to be in like near super nice kid too.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Just a nice
congratulations, man.
Yeah. I mean,
How'd you know Scott Baio?
Dude, it was when I was on Last Comic Standing. I got an email from Renee Baio saying, "Hey, me and my husband Scott are rooting for you. We'd love to come see you." And I thought it was a joke. Like, this is a fake account. So I'm like, all right, half off. Like, I was like, okay. And then they showed up.
Did I ever tell you?
And they were like, "We paid full price, you lying prick."
Yeah. So then they do like a charity thing every week for kids that are like super sick. So their kid was like misdiagnosed with like a terrible disease when she was born. They told her that she had this disease where she wasn't going to live very long, and then it was a false positive. Turns out she didn't have the disease, but every year they put on these fundraisers for kids that actually have the disease. So they earn so much money, but the fundraisers are always like Kurt Schilling. Kurt Schilling is there. That other baseball player for the Giants, like Audrey. What's that guy's name? The guy that's like always getting in trouble on the internet.
The only Audrey I know of.
Anybody.
The guy that was on the San Francisco Giants, and he's always he's like super right wing. He's hilarious. He's just always fighting with people and it's all. But anyway, I reckon they're very nice people. To me and other people. All right.
I'll forever regret asking him to help me and my girlfriend out and calling him Charles at your wedding. I thought, I don't know, I couldn't help it. Like, he was, I don't know if you heard that story, Don, but I was at Adam's wedding, and me and my girlfriend were arguing about something. I don't know, kind of back behind the whole area where the wedding was, and Scott Baio comes walking by, and I was like, holy shit, that's Charles in charge. Like, I didn't know he was at the wedding. And he looked at me kind of concerned because apparently I was being mean to her. It looked like I was being aggressive. And I said, Charles, would you help us out here? And he just looked at me like, he said, what? And I was like, never mind. Like, I was like, just kind of, he didn't get it. My girlfriend didn't
charge.
My girlfriend didn't get it because she had never even heard of Charles in Charge or Scott Baio. Like, she didn't even know who he was. So I was like, you don't know Chachi? Like, there's Charles in Charge, and she was like, "No, I'm 21." So I was like, I don't know. So,
John, he hates. He doesn't like being around people so much. He's just over it. So like, okay, so they were having a raffle, right, for the charity, and the winner.
That's why he hangs out with you.
Yeah, pretty much. The winner got a round of golf with Scott Baio, right? That was what the winner got, and so it was like up to like $1,000. Dude, all of a sudden they're like $5,000 to Scott Baio. He was bidding against himself, so he didn't have to play with anybody.
That's awesome.
And then everyone started bidding. He's like, got up to 15 grand because he didn't want to play with. He really doesn't like playing with anybody.
That is great. He would rather play with himself than play golf with you.
Then he said the person who won didn't even show up.
Dang, that's amazing. That is awesome. He would rather
everybody's a winner.
He'd rather give away all his Subway money just to not have to play golf with you.
Dude, I bombed so hard the first time doing it that there was an auction for like artwork, and the guy goes, "If nobody bids, I'm bringing the comic back up." And then people started bidding.
You realize the amount of money an auction house could make if they had Brendan Schaub do stand-up comedy, they're auctioning things, and did that. Like, well, we can either get some bids on this, or we can bring Schaub up for another $5. You'd be making millions. Absolutely.
Here's my checkbook.
So this week, Amanda Nunes is fighting. It's a UFC. It's a pay-per-view. It's in Canada, and people are not really aren't really feeling this one. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
But
I only know 3 names on the entire card, so that's a little surprising to me.
She's fighting Arena Donna. She's supposed to fight.
I'm betting $1,000 a testicle exposes itself during the fight, though.
So
it's even money. It's even money. So
I'm telling you, I think Aldana's going to win by knockout. I think Nunez is. I think that she's been slowly getting kind of past her prime, overlooking people. I think I'm calling it. I think Aldana wins this. Beneil Dariush against Oliveira. That's a good fight. I hope Beneil wins. He's a guy that I was like, Beneil, what'd you do over the weekend or something? He's like, oh, I went to a third world country and built a church. And doesn't even tell anybody. He's just a good guy, this guy. So who do you like in that one? Sean, Don.
God, I'm still going to Oliveira. Oliveira, before he fought the Dagestani guy, he was looking amazing, man. So I'm thinking he may be just having an off night or fighting a great fighter too. But yeah, I think he's still one of the top 2 or 3 fighters of that weight class in the world, man. He's really good. Really, really good.
Don?
I've never lost money betting on him. So yeah, I go with Oliveira.
All right.
I have a feeling Don's just trying to get a call from James Krause because he wanted to bet on the testicle coming out. Now he's talking about betting. Like within 5 minutes, his phone's going to be ringing. Like, I heard you want to lay some action down. It's going to be James Krause.
That'll be hilarious. Fucking Krause. Dude, you don't understand. Like when I met with Fight Pass and like Dana wanted to do the special, and then the UFC comedy specials, blah, blah, blah. Dude, there was a guy that I'm not going to say his name. He was not feeling, let's say, my show at all. He went on for like an hour telling me like how wrong I was for yada, yada, yada. And all he kept saying was, why can't you be more like James Krause? He's like, James Krause is a guy you need to be like.
I'm sorry, Dana, but
no, it wasn't Dana. It was this other guy at Fight Pass that was like, but he just kept telling me how James Krause, I need to be like James Krause. I'm like, meanwhile, James Krause almost bankrupted the whole fucking company. I mean, he basically got gambling illegal in Canada.
I like James, but I have a feeling
he almost got.
They're going to find him floating head first down a river.
All right, one at a time. Don, what were we saying?
Don first.
He almost made it illegal in Nevada too.
Yeah. And Sean, what were you saying?
No, I was going to say I like James, but I have a feeling they might find him floating down a river at some point here shortly with the people. He had some stuff going on. He's a slick dude, man. I'll tell you what. Like I told you, he saw I made a parlay bet, and man, my phone blew up because I posted online. I hit like a 30-1 parlay, and then before I knew it, he was like, he goes, hey, so like, who you betting with? You got any friends that want to bet like this and that? I'm like, dude, I don't really want to set up like a sports book. And he's like, dude, I've been doing it for like 12 years, all this and that. And I was like, you know how much trouble you can get in for doing that? Like I was telling him, like anything across state lines is a federal crime, dude. Like they ain't going to do that. They don't prosecute that. I'm like, dude, that's said every guy who's ever been in prison for gambling, like the best was when my local bookie hit me up, had his son hit me up and told me, hey, if you get any text or calls from my old phone, don't answer. And I was and so I get a hold of his son and I'm like, what does that mean? I haven't placed a bet or talked to your dad in 6 months. Number one, it's a burner phone. Number two, why would he have my name or number in there still or any bets I made? You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like, what are you telling me? Don't like, dude, he had me stressing out for weeks. I'm like, you do something like you make bets with a guy. And I thought sports gambling was legal. Like I thought it was legal. And he's like, well, actually, it was my dad's sports book. He set it up, and it wasn't actually because DraftKings won't let you bet if you're a former UFC fighter. They won't let you make bets for whatever reason. I guess they probably because of James Krause. But they won't let you make bets. So I asked this guy, do you know any guys what site do you use? And he told me, well, turns out it's his site. And I didn't know that. But yeah, I got an email one night in the middle of the night that says, hey, if anybody contacts you from the number you made those bets on, don't answer or respond. My dad's in jail right now. I was like, awesome. Like that's great. That's exactly, if he cared enough to hit me up, you know what I mean? How much trouble is he in, so just
100%. So Nate the Train, who's a guy that like, he's one of those guys, Don, he's a throwback to you where he takes two to give one, but he's like the toughest human being ever. I think he's out of Tennessee or somewhere at North Carolina, one of those states. And he's fighting Dan Ige, who's a nice guy. I asked him to come to a show one time. He said he had Bible study, which, anybody that's doing Bible study now, he's either a really good guy or has killed somebody.
Right. So, it's definitely one of the two. There's no middle ground there if you're going to do a Bible study.
So do you? I mean,
or he's been to your show before. He's an atheist.
The funny part, Don, is that he's not even like Don's voice is funny, his delivery is funny, but he's constantly like, if I had a sitcom, when I fucking finally sell Pinned, you guys will both have roles in it. Don would be the greatest gym coach. Like, imagine him as like the substitute teacher / wrestling coach. The kids show up and he's like, "You guys are a bunch of fucking pussies." And the kid's like, "My ankle hurts." "It's not your ankle, it's your goddamn vagina." Just fucking, it'd be the best. He would have his own spinoff halfway through the first show. But all right, fuck this show. I want to watch the Don Frye. And then McCorkle, you'd be great because you'd be like trying to like give the kids steroids. Like, come here, kid.
I would definitely enhance their performance in some fashion.
The kid's crying. Like, what do I do better? Well, honestly, you could do this, that, or you could take fucking testosterone. Just give them like some kind of, the kid starts winning. And I look at you during the match and you're like, "I don't know." So
I used to tell people all the time.
Every kid gains 40 pounds.
People would ask me
about 40 pounds in 2 weeks.
They'd ask me about steroids all the time. And I tell them, "Man, listen, steroids are for people that like winning and money." That's what I always say. Like, it's So
Eric Anders, he's a guy that played for Alabama, NCAA championship, the team. Then he didn't get drafted. He went to the Canada Football Team League. I guess he fizzled out. He worked for UPS for like a week. And then he said, "I'm going to become a pro fighter." And he's one of these football players, like, that was knocking everyone out quickly. And then all of a sudden they figured out, okay, this guy's got some holes in his game. And, now he's 15-7, but he's looked great. I guess he's recently divorced and his body has gotten so much better since he got divorced. I don't know.
I mean, everybody does. Yeah. Everybody. Your life improves exponentially. You just don't realize it while you're going through it, But
is that what happens? I mean, do you think it's like you lose half your shit and you're like, you know what? Now is that motivating divorces, Sean?
Well, I found out
at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I realized once I was single again that apparently I couldn't just eat whatever I wanted and still date hot chicks, you know what I mean, or whatever. So like I had to get in shape and do that. Plus, mine was great because she broke me financially. I was a millionaire and she planned our divorce for 2 years and broke me. I was bankrupt in 30 days. Like from the time I found out we were getting divorced, from being a millionaire at 28 years old. At 32, I was completely bankrupt. I had no idea she'd done it to me. But within 18 months, I was in the UFC and kind of rich again, not rich again, but had made a bunch of money again and the best shape of my life and on TV. So that kind of stuck it to her a little bit. I made sure to always mention it in interviews to her that how much better I was doing than her now and stuff. So we're still not friends.
Well, Mackenzie Dern got divorced, but they said allegedly she was beating him up, but he was being verbally abusive. And she was being physically abusive.
Well, she probably outweighed him.
Well, he's also like this like surfer guy that I thought they were the perfect couple when I met him. But you never know. I guess what goes on behind closed doors. But she's beyond motivated. This Mackenzie Dern chick. So yeah, I guess maybe there is something to it. Chris Curtis is fighting. Love that guy. He's been knocking everyone out. Chris Curtis is a great fighter. I think he lives with I guess he's a nice guy too. From what I understand, he dated a girl who had a son. The son is like completely white. He dated a white girl that had a son, and he's been raising the kid, even though they broke up. He still is in that kid's life. Right. And I guess the kid's like 11 or 12, and I guess he went to go visit the kid at school, and they didn't believe it was his dad.
That's crazy. I'll tell you what, man, it takes a heck of a man to raise someone else's kid, and it really takes a heck of a man to raise someone else's kid when they're not with the mom anymore. Like to continue to be in that kid's life, that's an amazing. Anybody that does that, I mean, you can't even get most real dads in a kid's life, let alone somebody that's not the biological, and they split up.
Shouldn't they say that, like in the pre-interviews? Like, is there a way to say that does not, because like you heard that, Sean, and you're like, wow, this guy, I'm going to root for this guy now, and I feel like most men would be like that. That's most women too. And I think he's got a new baby too coming out, or just came out. It's like an album. And then
he's got a new baby about to drop. We're not sure. The publishing company's trying to decide when the best time to bring it out would be.
So Dana White said, look, I got to call Dana out a little bit. He says we don't make gimmick fights, right? That was what he says. We don't make gimmick fights here in the UFC. Then a week later, he says he wants to make John Jones versus Tyson Fury. He goes, we'll make it happen. We made Conor happen. Both these guys say they're the baddest man on the planet in the octagon. I mean, there's no way Tyson Fury. I mean, they can give him $30 million to do this. Isn't that what Tyson Fury is making? Could that ever happen? What do you think?
Yeah, he's not Tyson Fury's not taking an ass whipping. No. Even for 30, because he can box and win and get 20 to 30, so he's not none of those boxers besides James Toney's the only one dumb enough to do it. None of those guys are coming over and fighting in the UFC and just getting their ass whipped for that. The sad thing is that UFC's outsell boxing by far on pay-per-view. It's not even close, and boxers are still making 10 times what UFC guys are making. Like that's I saw something the other day, I think the split, some kind of paperwork came out from a lawsuit or something, and the UFC did record numbers and all this different stuff because they're going to go public. And the fighters got 13% of total revenues, and every other league it's 50-50 or close to it, like every other sports league. And the excuse is, well, the UFC is only 30 years old. Like what? Okay. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like what we've been building the sport. Like, okay.
Right.
I wish I could see the actual numbers though. I wish I could actually see the actual breakdowns because I feel stupid talking about all this because I don't know the actual, okay, what does this guy get? Where does this guy get? How much does it cost to rent this? How much is it? And then I could be like, okay, this is way ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know from UFC 124, and that's that I was the co-main event Stephen Struve. He made Struve made 14 and 14, so he got 28,000. I made 10 and lost, so I didn't get my bonus. So the co-main event of a pay-per-view that sold between 900,000 and $1 million pay-per-views at $65 a piece cost them under $50,000 of the co-main event. George St. Pierre, I heard, got $2.5 to $3 million. Josh Koscheck got 500,000. They said. So the whole payroll for the entire fight was under $4 million, and 3 of it went to George St. Pierre. And that's just domestic pay-per-view, United States. They had to split it with Comcast at the time. So they did let's say 60 million. So the UFC got 30, Comcast got 30. That doesn't include the 95 sponsors, Bud Light on the thing, doesn't include international pay-per-views, international TV deals, international, whatever they probably cleared 60 or $80 million on the event and paid out 4 total to the fighters, 3 of it to GSP. So that's what I have to go on from it. And
right. No, I mean, you're right.
A $10,000 bonus though. They sent me a $10,000 bonus for 900,000 by pay-per-view for the co-main event. So I was supposed to be thrilled with that, I guess. So
by the way, so Tisha Torres and Raquel.
Yeah, you can go get Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter, and it has the payoffs. It has the payoffs to each UFC.
Yeah,
I know, but what are the costs? That's what I want to know. What the actual, like, how much does it cost to rent T-Mobile Arena for November or whatever? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how much.
It's a lot cheaper than it is for everybody else.
Like, how much does it cost to insure all the fighters during the event? Like I would like to know the actual.
Virtually nothing, because if you get hurt in the UFC event, they don't help you after. I got hurt in one, call 100 times. Hey, I can't feel my left leg. Couldn't get a doctor's appointment. Couldn't get insurance information. They just told me, well, let's just see how it feels next week and give us a call back. And I was like, no, I have damage to my leg. Well, just go to the doctor and then send us the bill or whatever. I'm like, I don't have $8,000 to go to the doctor and then send you the bill. Hope you're going to pay me.
Oh God.
Yeah. Like it's I was like, send me the $8,000 and then I'll send you the difference if it's not more than that. You know what I mean? Like it's no, they're making a fortune, man. An absolute. I thought the Fertittas were greedy. The new owners are far greedier than the Fertittas ever thought about being.
Because at least the Fertittas had a stake in it. They trained, at least they tried to at least care about the sport. The other guys, these other guys are just numbers. They don't even like the sport.
No, dude, these other guys, I don't know if you saw Dana White.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. Also, you got William Morris Endeavor. They could get everybody in the UFC on in the movies, and the SAG insurance would cover all the fighters. So why don't they do that?
Grand slams, no hitters, and double plays are back. That's right, and there's no better place to get on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official partner of Major League Baseball. And guess what, people? New customers in Massachusetts getting in on the action with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston. And finally, you can bet on all your favorite sports, from the money line to point spreads to player props and more. I love it, okay? If I'm going to bet, I'm going to go on FanDuel. So now, bet on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Don't miss your chance to get $200 of bonus bets. Win or lose. How great is that? Okay? Visit FanDuel.com/Boston and make every moment more. That's FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball. You got to be 21 and older and present in Massachusetts. Okay, your first online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable. And bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Help is here. So is hope. Hope and help. GamblingHelpLineMA.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com or call 1-800-GAM-1234. That's FanDuel. Check it out now. Right now. You want to bet? That's where you go. I got to talk to you about HelloFresh. First of all, what is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get fresh farmed, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. You got to skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. #1, all right? You can make mealtime easy with delicious recipes made with fresh, wholesome ingredients delivered to your door. No lines, no hassle, no gas, all that other stuff that you have to get there. No, just great tasting meals you can whip up and enjoy in the comfort of home. Sounds good to me. HelloFresh has 40 weekly recipes to choose from for all meal occasions, lifestyles, and preferences, okay? Take your pick from meals like soy glazed salmon with rice or mushroom and chive risotto. That sounds delicious. I'm in. Now, me and my wife, we've been doing home-cooked HelloFresh, and it has been delicious. Delicious, okay? It saves us time. It saves us money. We're in. So just go to HelloFresh.com/roasted60. Use the code roasted60 for 60% off plus free shipping, okay? HelloFresh.com/roasted60, all right? HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Go check it out. Wow. That would
I'll tell you a good one. They told Dana White he was going to have to scale down his office plans when they were building the Performance Center. WME did. And Dana White laughed and said, not only am I going to scale it down, now I'm doubling the size. And if you guys don't like it, I'll just walk away from the company. Have fun running it. But they actually, I saw him in an interview say they actually thought they were going to shrink his office down, and he had plans to have his own kitchen there and own gym. They're like, listen, we're not spending $500,000 to build you an office inside this thing, or whatever. These guys with hundreds of millions of dollars, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like, but that's how you get that rich, I guess, right? But I actually told Dana. Dana started laughing and said, not only am I not scaling down, I'm doubling the size now since you guys want to do that. If not, find someone else to run it. So,
dude, I had a long talk with Dana the other day.
Yeah.
He called me, and it was what I want to tell you, like, because I was like, I found out some bad news, and I was like, well, thank you for the opportunity, blah, blah. And he called me, and he's like, here's what you gotta fucking do. You take this, you do that. He goes, and he gave me this speech. Like, I'm still not even sure what I heard, but it was I felt like he's like, you guys know ridiculousness. I own the rights to that. But Herb's Burgers. I own Herb's Burger. Like it was the craziest speech I've ever. That's what I've been trying to tell you, Sean. Was the conversation I've been trying to tell you because I know you're gonna laugh.
At the end of the speech, he was invading Poland.
It was crazy.
It's funny, man. I don't know. That's I told you what Dana did for Bubba McDaniel. And I'll forever be grateful to him for that, regardless of what anybody says about him. he didn't have to do that. And, I don't care how much money he's got either. You don't have to give 30 grand to somebody that you don't even know. You know what I mean? For their son's funeral or whatever. And I was forever. He's always given me tickets to every event, usually shitty seats. It just depends on if I talk to him or not. If I talk to his secretary, I get nosebleeds. If I actually get a hold of him, I get like front row. So it just depends on who. But I haven't asked since UFC 199. I haven't asked one time for tickets because I saw him say in an interview his least favorite part of the job is when people text him and ask him for tickets. And I was like, I'll never ask again. And there
was an event he saw me in Kansas City where I knew I had to leave early, so I bought tickets because I knew I had to leave for the main event. And then, like, his assistant was like, Dana came up to me. Dana sees you up there. He wants to move down. Like, that was pretty fucking cool. I mean, but this speech I got to tell you about was like,
he's like, this, I own that, the slap league, I own that, but we don't know if we're ever.
He told me about. Everyone told me slap was gonna fail, and now it's worth fucking. And he gave the same speech to the media like a week later. So I that's why I'm like telling you about this. But like, oh my god, and like it was crazy. It was.
I do have a question for you that you'll probably know. I know Don won't know because he's as in touch with like cultural stuff as I am. I don't know who the Nelk boys are, but why did Dana White give one of them $250,000? Do you have any idea?
There's this whole like Full Send Nelk Boy podcast that they're out of Canada. They have a huge following. They're like in that whole Jake Paul, Logan Paul. Look, I mean, they're in their early 20s.
Famous for being famous.
Yeah, I kind of missed that whole, like, I'm 45. These kids are like 23, 24. The problem is, like, I kind of feel like Luke Rockhold when he did. He's like, you guys are the worst part of society. All you do is care about clicks. You don't get, like, he went off on them. It was like old man Luke going off on them.
Right.
I was kind of with Luke on that. Like, it's like they just have a different, like the one that Nate Diaz slapped, because.
Oh, is that one of them?
Yeah.
I don't know who those guys are or why they're famous, but I just saw Dana White give one of them $250,000 cash, and I couldn't figure out why. And everybody's outraged, and I'm like, he can give his money to whoever he wants, but why would he just randomly give?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't
think anybody still knows why it happened. I just know a lot of fighters were like, I could have used that $250,000, but I don't know. They must have done something to deserve $250,000, and it wasn't like for his birthday or anything. I think it was just like
I think it was his birthday. I think it was the birthday.
Oh, was that it? Okay.
So Tisha Torres and Raquel Pennington had their baby. So Tisha, two of my favorite people ever. I love both of them. But I do have questions. Like so what happened? So so Tisha carried the baby, and is it gonna be like, how does that work? Like,
I don't know. I posted about it on Twitter. I said that's just more proof that the rhythm method doesn't work. Or whatever. Like you need to get on birth control if you want for sure to be
But a guy obviously like matches his sperm with is it Raquel's egg or is it Tisha or like how does
it sound like it's the PFL? They matched up 3 of the sperm and then it was the first.
Like how do I know who? Like do they join Tisha and Raquel together and then that they can't do that.
Bruce Buffer was it. Bruce Buffer was the donation.
Do we know who this? I mean, I have a lot of questions, but I feel like an asshole asking them.
He spit it into a cup.
Every time I try to ask somebody one of these questions,
did you just hear that joke out of it? I'm just told.
What happened? Bruce spit into a cup.
He said, "Who was the donor?" And he said, "Bruce Buffer." He spit it into a cup. I got the joke. Almost choked on my coffee too.
Yeah. That's why you're not the father.
All right. All right. So Mark Coleman is in pretty good shape right now. Have you guys been following this Mark Coleman?
I have been. Yeah. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I look every day what he's doing. Dude, it's crazy. He's doing that. The whole carnivore diet is just no carbs is all it is. Like you only eat meat, and that works because without carbs, your body can't process calories to convert them to fat. So that's basically, if you only eat meat, you'll lose weight at an amazing rate. It's just, can you do that for how long? You know what I mean? So, but he's actually got abs now and everything again, man.
But this is what he writes. He's officially unretired with a fist. So he says, "Where are you at, my trolls?" And then a kissing emoji. "I need you to bring it, please, pussy ass face coward losers for life." This is all uncapitalized, but though my fans, I apologize, but I don't apologize. Well, kind of. I love and appreciate you so much. I love you guys. I'm not that I'm stupid. I know what I'm doing. I'm a genetic freak of nature. I'm just getting started. I feel like Superman times 10. I got this: pro wrestling, MMA, boxing, celebrity boxing, and basketball. Carnivore 9 and several tenants are fire. Thanks for the push, my Buffalo bro, Liver King. We taking over. Sober is super cool. Hammer House for life.
I saw Chael.
Good for Mark, man. I'm happy. I'm happy for the guy, man. I hope it works out good for him.
But what is he want to fight? Who is he? Is he playing basketball too? Like, what's going on?
I think he said he wanted to do a celebrity boxing match, like not maybe being serious, just kind of saying it like his way to motivate and get trained, trained and stuff. And of course, everybody, even Chael said he's not a celebrity nor a boxer. So why is he? Which one is he going to be? And I'm like, damn, Chael, come on, man! Like you talk about punching down on a guy, or whatever.
No,
like,
I love it. I'm just a little confused. So, did you guys see this guy who got knocked out in the guard?
I did. Yeah, that was in KSW.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Watch this. Oh, here we go.
Poradzić sobie z ciężkim rywalem.
Oh man. Now, is that weak chin, surprise, or other guys' superhuman strength? How does that happen, Don?
Yeah, weak chin. Yeah. Geez, that's just stand there, hanging there with your mouth open, and you get popped, and it just moves your jaw, rattles it around. That's just weak chin and stupidity,
Sean?
Yeah, I would say he probably felt safe in the position he was in and thought it really didn't matter. Like he thought he was on top. The guy can't do anything, and just got hit at the right spot at the right time, man. I don't know. That was I'll tell you what, that's KSW. I saw a picture of the crowd there. There must have been 80,000 people at that event, man. I fought for KSW twice. They put on the best show. They put the UFC to shame, man, like their show. There was 25,000 people there the first time I fought, 30,000 the second time at a massive arena. They have like Polish everything's funny. Like, this is our Polish American Idol winner. This is like they told me that Pudzianowski's brother was like the Polish Vanilla Ice. Which cracked me up. And the ring announcer, I said, who are you, the Polish? Like, everybody's the Polish something over there. They try to explain it. Like, he's the Polish Charles in charge. No, they want you to help him move. Not really. But he was like, they were like, this guy said, I'm like the Polish Wu-Tang Clan, like just by himself. I was like, damn, by yourself with a Polish Wu-Tang Clan? Like, that's amazing. But yeah, it's a KSW. I don't know if you've ever seen one of their shows, man. Like, look, it is phenomenal. The two guys that own it used to be in television and movie production, so they know how to produce an event, man, and how to like make it, like very viewer friendly. It's they have like a concert that starts it. Like, it's amazing. Talk about expenses. I guarantee it costs 3 times to put on one of their shows what it costs the UFC to put on one of theirs, man. With the production they do and the pyrotechnics, just everything, man. It's like kind of like the old Pride days, but even more. So,
So have you guys been following the Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia stuff?
No.
So De La Hoya is.
I don't follow it. I don't follow anything to do with Oscar De La Hoya. Sorry.
So De La Hoya.
Bruce Buffer does.
De La Hoya Garcia's promoter. Wait, who does?
Bruce Buffer.
Bruce Buffer does.
Bruce Buffer's just getting killed right now. So they're at odds again. Basically, that's his promoter, right? And he wanted. I guess De La Hoya announced that he was gonna fight Pacquiao. That it was gonna be Garcia versus Pacquiao. Which, and then Garcia said, "No, that's not what I want. I don't want that fight. It's not happening." And then it starts going off about it. So De La Hoya tweets at him, "Hey, what's up, Ryan Garcia? It's been almost 2 months and you're still crying about the post presser," because he said after his fight, everyone left him. According to Garcia, no one was with him before the fight, even his promoter. He goes, "The blame for your loss is on you and your advisor. He's the only one who pushed you to accept that insane rehydration clause. And that is the reason you lost. Man up, own that." And he goes, "And also you keep saying Tank's team set up, offer more support for you, blah, blah, blah. bro, they set you up to lose with the rehydration clause. Al Heyman didn't show up the entire week. He never shows up. How's that for support? And then Garcia writes, okay, buddy, you got it all figured out. Tired of you disrespecting my whole career and all you think none of it matters. Loyalty and common sense is lost in your head. And then he goes, I'm about to fight this guy. I guess De La Hoya took a picture with one of Ryan's future opponents, and you act buddy. He goes, you don't care about your fighters. Really tired of this fake act. Stop the cap. The cap means the lying. Be real for once, man. I can respect you more if you just told me the truth. You're in it for the cash. No love lost. So they're going at it on Twitter. Thoughts?
Ryan Garcia could have saved a lot of in time if he would have just posted that picture of Oscar De La Hoya in lingerie and a dress, or whatever, like he had on. Like I would have just responded with that and left it there. But
I mean, now if he did sign even rehydration clause or not, he was outclassed in that fight. He should not have been fighting that Gervonta Davis, who's obviously the best in the world, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like, why is he fighting him after only 23 fights? And he's 24 years old, 23 years. He's not very old. It was, they could have built him more and he could have made a lot more money, because once you get that one loss in boxing, no one cares anymore, So that's a shame, man. It's a shame they pushed him. And I don't know how much he got paid for it. Certainly wasn't 8-8 like the UFC would have taken care of him, I'm sure. But I hope he made tens of millions, because that's I don't know. De La Hoya is a scumbag from everything I've heard from everybody, man. Like I've heard repeatedly from people that know him and know of him that he's a scam artist. So 100%. Now, will you please explain this to me, by the way, Sean? So we talked about this a little bit before. This Roy Jones versus that guy against, his name is was it NDO champ, right? So they're fighting in the metaverse, right? So what exactly does that mean? I know you, Sean, you're up on this. Okay, here we go. This is the
it for the first professional metaverse fight in history. Friday, June 30th, 9-time world champion Roy Jones Jr. and social media superstar NDO champ step into the ultimate virtual ring inside Galaxy Arena. Experience boxing like never before through state-of-the-art volumetric capture technology as they battle it out for the Metaverse Championship. Only on pay-per-view. Presented by Official Celebrity Boxing in Galaxy Arena.
Dude, there's so many questions I have about what I just saw, and I don't even know. So they're fighting for the Metaverse champ. So I guess the NDO belt's not up for grabs in this one, because that guy's already got the NDO belt. And experience boxing like it's never been fought before. The Metaverse, I thought the Metaverse was virtual reality. Is it not? I'm so are we going to all wear virtual reality goggles and watch them fight, or are they going to virtually fight as cartoon characters in the Metaverse? Dude, I don't know, man. I swear I don't know what's going on. I never thought I would get old. I thought I would always know what words like cap meant. So when you explained it to me, I thought I would always be up on things. Anymore, I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I don't know who the Nelk Boys are. I don't know what capping is, nor do I do it. I hope. I don't know what the Metaverse. I'm still not sure what the Metaverse is. I'm not a member. I'm not I don't. I'm certainly not paying. I didn't pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a house next to Snoop Dogg in the Metaverse. Have you heard about that? Some guy paid millions of dollars to live next to Snoop Dogg in the Metaverse. How does anybody that dumb get that much money to begin with? I don't know what's dude,
I watched this documentary. Actually, I read an article about the guy who won $115 million. You hear about this guy? West Virginia. This guy was he bought one lottery ticket, wins $115 million. And then his whole life falls apart because first he's like, I'm going to buy a church. He starts giving money away. There's a line of people in his town that want money. And he's like, I'm going to do this with it and that. Then he starts going to strip clubs, dropping 500,000, making it rain on strippers. Within 2 years, his granddaughter died for overdosing on crack after she was all this stuff. Another guy died. Her friend died with her. He got divorced. The waitress that sold him that was there when he bought tickets. She bought a house. He bought her a house. She moved out. She has no internet anymore. Like everything about him is just beyond sad. He's got like 4 or 5 DUIs. Complete scumbag. This was like a man of Jesus before and was gonna do all that. Dude, it's.
They always talk about like when people think money will make, they would like people will say, oh yeah, well, if I had money for a personal trainer, I would work out. No, you wouldn't. You'd be the same person you are. Like money allows people to be who they really are. Just like I've always said, people will blame their actions on being drunk or something that they say, oh, I was drunk. I'm like, you were drunk. Therefore you said what you really feel without fear of consequences. That's people don't lie when they're drunk. They're honest when they're drunk. You know what I mean? Or whatever. But it just goes to show most people to their core are a piece of shit. And when they get all that money, it just allows them to do all the piece of shit things they wanted to do anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's 100%. Someone's gonna have to explain the strip club thing to me, man, because I don't get it. Like you can hire a hooker to have sex with you for $500. Why you would spend $5,000 at a strip club and not have sex? I can't imagine.
I used to go to strip clubs a lot though when I was younger, but I would never buy a lap dance or a drink, and I would pull strippers. I would go there, and instead of giving money, I give comedy club tickets to the stage.
Right.
And they'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, well, that's what. Well, what's funny is if you want to pull a stripper, all you have to do is mistreat them because that's how they got there in the first place, and that's the only thing they respect is people mistreating them. You know what I mean?
You can't buy them anything. If you buy a lap dance, no matter what, the rest of your life you're a customer. They're trained.
Yeah.
You can't.
Did I ever tell you about the time? Did I tell you about the time? I don't know how much I should say of it, but a girl thought she was going on a trip with me and thought I was going to buy her a bunch of stuff by inviting herself along on a trip. I'll have to tell you that one sometime. I met this girl after this fight, and then she thought like I was buying her stuff. Like, and I was sitting there thinking like she got like $700 or $800 clothes. We're standing there looking at me, and I was like looking at her, and she's looking at me. And the guy wanted to know who's paying. And I was like, I'm not paying. You think I'm paying for that? Like, you think I pay for women? Are you out of your mind? Like, or whatever. And she had to put everything back. Couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there thinking like, what? You thought we were going shopping? Dude.
Dude, when I hosted that contest, that stripping contest a couple of weeks ago, this girl was like, I think she was like an escort, and she kept following me around. I go, just so you know, I'll talk to you, I'll make you laugh. I am not purchasing anything from you.
Right. It's I was telling Robin last night, my girlfriend, I was telling her last night about this girl in Birmingham, Alabama. I don't know why I remember it was Birmingham. This girl comes up to me and starts hitting on me and she said her boyfriend wants to watch me bang her or whatever. Like, that's what she's saying. I said, well, your boyfriend's gay, man. Like, and because he's wanting to watch me, not you. He can see you anytime he wants. I said, so he's gay, but I got a weird vibe from her. And she kept following me around. It ends up with me telling him, because then he approaches me. I don't know who he is. He's some like Armenian dude, or that's what he seemed like anyway. He starts trying to talk me into it. And I said, dude, are you gay? Like, what's going on? Like, why don't you just go have sex with a man? It's what you obviously want. You know what I mean? And he just keeps at it and this and that. And I end up telling them both. I said, I've got a gun in my car. And I'm telling you guys right now, if you don't leave me alone, I'll kill both of you. Like, I don't know what you guys... I said, they were trying to rob me or something was going on. I said, you guys have some angle. I was wearing a Rolex, which may have been part of it too. I had like a $20,000 watch at the time. So they probably thought I was rich or were going to rob me or whatever. I said, you guys are up to something. I don't know what it is, but if you think for a second I won't shoot both of you right in your head, you're out of your mind. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So I actually went out and got my gun and brought it back in with me to this bar I was at or whatever, because I didn't trust them. But they were all night eyeballing me, man. It just like I don't know. It's not, even when you're as charming as me, it's not that easy. You know what I mean? So
of course.
There was something going on, but people are, I don't get people, man. I don't understand. I don't know why. I don't know.
I think you'll get this. Back to pro wrestling. I thought you would love this clip because it's right up your alley. These two guys are wrestling. I don't know.
The best is the white guy looks like he doesn't know what are you thinking about? What's going on?
Let's watch that one more time.
That is amazing. People are so awesome, man.
Hold on, let's see this again. We have
wearing fishnets doesn't help that whole. The whole thing.
Here we go. The guy gets behind him, and then. He's like, what?
Dude, that was amazing. I did pro wrestling one time, And they asked me like, "Hey, we're going to make sure you win, right?" And I was like, "I don't care, dude. Like, I don't, if it's set up, I don't care." But I was doing pro wrestling one time, and this guy, we're going through the moves and doing this, and he goes, "You got any questions?" I said, "Yeah, I do. Do you ever just feel ridiculous out here doing this? Like, do you ever just like I said, like on my face, my red face is getting red and I'm getting embarrassed and no one's even watching. We're just rehearsing and I'm embarrassed at what I'm doing." And he goes, "No, why?" Like, and I felt terrible when I said it then, because he was like, he couldn't understand why I would be embarrassed to be doing pro wrestling, you know what I mean? Or whatever. But yeah, he was like, "You got any questions?" I said, "Yeah. Do you ever just feel absolutely ridiculous out here doing this, like fake fighting?" He was like, "No, why?" And I was like, "Oh, no, never mind." But yeah, those pro wrestling dudes, man,
the indie guys are funny. Have you seen this guy, the Michael Jackson guy?
no, but that looks like the guy that was just wearing fishnets.
Oh yeah, this is that guy. This is his opponent. So this is the guy who's wearing fishnets, and he's wrestling this guy. He goes up against this guy.
Dude, I don't.
Hold on. So it's the gay guy against Michael Jackson.
Wolfman's there.
What?
Dude. Dude, I want to know how the hell this event only pulled 40 fans. I'm going to the next one. I don't know what that is. I swear to God, I will fly to the next event that this happens. Whoever those guys are wrestling, I'm going to it. I don't care where it is.
Don, you were a pro wrestler. It's changed a lot since you were wrestling. Have you?
Don has to watch that, man. Don, you got to see what he just played. It's the most amazing pro wrestling scenario I've ever seen in my life. Actually, you got to show me both.
All right, okay. Don, so this is the first guy, right? But
show him the escape. I got to use the bathroom. Sorry, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the first guy. So here we go. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. So that's one way. All right.
That was used 20 years ago.
That was who? You?
That was used 20 years ago. That's an old move.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you use this move?
No, not me, buddy. Not me. Fuck that.
Did anyone use it on you?
No, I heard you use it when you met Bruce Buffer, shaking hands.
Of course. So here, and here's the same guy that was gay wrestling this guy who dressed like a Michael Jackson. Look at this guy. So he's coming out as Michael Jackson.
My screen's froze up.
Okay, hold on.
Well, Michael Jackson's been dead for a while, so yeah.
So yeah. And now he's a wolf. For some reason, he became a wolf.
I think that was Thriller, an ode to Thriller.
Oh, he's a werewolf. Got it. That makes sense. So I couldn't figure out why he was a wolf, but now.
Yeah, it took me a minute.
That makes sense. So hold on. I gotta figure out how do I get this off now? All right. Hold on. How do I? My computer's going crazy. All right, here we go.
Definitely don't cut this part out.
So what are your thoughts on that, Sean?
Dude, post the link. You got to post the link to that whole video on this podcast thing. That was I swear to God, I will go. I want to know where that is. I want to go to the next show. Whoever's promoting that is a genius. That is the most amazing. Tell me that's not better than anything you've seen on WWE in the past 10 years.
100%. But then I don't know. I don't support this, but I guess I do, because if you have no arms, you should probably fight someone else with no arms.
Oh God.
But here we go. This is legit MMA kickboxing. Here we go.
Oh man. Wait, the guy lost who landed the kick? He called off the fight for the other guy who got kicked.
And then finally, there was a concert. Have you seen this concert? So for some reason, I know Don is into this. I know this is your thing. I know you like to go to concerts. Have you seen this, Don? So this girl was peeing on this guy on stage. Hold on, here you go. So have you guys ever seen this?
No, I haven't seen that one. No. Damn.
I think I heard a shot. I think I heard a shot.
So,
I think I heard a shot.
Is that a midget?
Hold on.
I think I heard a shot.
So there we go.
The crazy thing is that they thought that would be even more degrading if it was on a midget than a regular person. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to be on a guy, but you had to be on a midget, no less.
I mean, why would anyone want that to happen? Oh God. Well, I'm just sad to see that Uriah Faber has stooped so low,
performing at concerts.
Why do people take their children to watch drag queens? You know, they're fucked up people out here in this society.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a little different, I think. But that's that's
not far, not much different. No. Not much different.
We're on the same street, I think. It's right down the same avenue at the end of the block.
Well, that is our show today.
Right.
Don, what do you got coming up?
I got we finalized some more tea and whiskeys, so we're gonna get that going at the International Fight Week. We'll be picking that up again on Fight Pass, and we'll be doing that for the rest of the year. In August and July, August, November, and then in Madison Square Garden in December.
Oh, that's awesome. Sean?
I am going to be booking a flight and hotel reservations wherever the next pro wrestling match that Michael Jackson is performing. And hopefully it'll be somewhere near the town where the midget's getting peed on so I can catch that show while I'm gone too, man.
I think the Michael Jackson guy actually does jiu-jitsu and detained a guy that was causing problems on Fremont Street. I'm pretty sure that's the same guy.
I heard he teaches kids classes though, and the parents have a problem with it. So it's I don't know if he can really be.
But it's free. It's free. Just bring your kid and drop them off. It's free.
When I used to do real quick because I know we're ending. I used to do the Mitrio or McCorkle minute on Ariel Helwani's show, right, where I would just devastate fighters, man. Just tear them up. And so when that guy Mike Jackson fought CM Punk, I said I hadn't seen a guy named Mike Jackson put that many blows on a young punk since Neverland Ranch. I had some kind of joke like that, but the audio cut out right as I said it, so it killed the joke, and everybody still to this day asks me what it was. And the worst part was my very first joke. Swear to God, this happened on there. It was our final McCorkle minute they ever let us do because it was getting too offensive. But I said that someone told me my sense of humor was so dark it was probably raised by its grandmother, which is a great joke, right? But the audio cut it out and it made it sound like I said raped by its grandmother. It sounds like I said that, and people are like, dude, I still don't get the rape joke. And I'm like, it wasn't a rape joke. I can't. And I've even asked Ariel, can you cut that part out? And he's like, man, I'm not going back and messing with doing, all that, blah, blah, blah. I said, dude, it sounds like I'm making a rape joke about you know what I mean? A black and rape joke combined, but I don't know why it was just the audio glitched, but the raised by its grandmother was a great joke.
Good joke. It's a great joke, actually. That's a good joke. A great joke. I will be at the International Fight Week at the LA Comedy Club on that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the Strap. So in Las Vegas. Anyway, you guys are great. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, man.